Now let's talk about the etiology and pathogenesis of the chronic myeloid leukemia. There have not known to be any causative factors associated with the CML, but there are certain risk factors that increase a person's propensity to develop these leukemias. More specifically, the important ones here are the radiation exposure. After the Chernobyl incident, there was a slight increase in the patient population living in close by areas of the CML. And after the Second World War, the median age of development of CML of the people living in the affected areas was about 6 years. Later on, after the incident, people started having CML. So the radiation exposure is a major risk factor for CML, specifically the nuclear incidents, as I just mentioned. And along with that, certain types of radiation treatment, like the ionizing radiations, which we use for radiotherapy of various disorders. And also there are certain types of, for example, the X-rays which we do, which also have ionizing radiations. So the ionizing radiations and the nuclear exposure, the nuclear accidents, they increase a person's chances or increase a person's risk of getting the chronic myeloid leukemia. On the contrary, there has not been any increased risk of CML after the chemotherapeutic agents used. The chemotherapeutic agents can make the bone marrow very susceptible to a lot of leukemias like the AML or the acute lymphoid leukemia. But on the contrary, CML has not been noted to be of greater incidence after the chemotherapeutic regimes. So the main risk factors which we have are the radiations, either in the form of the nuclear accidents or in the form of a treatment modality. Now let's talk about the pathogenesis. This is to understand the basics of the CML. So we'll just play a general slide which will show the whole pathway of the development of a granulocyte or a white blood cell. We start off with a hematopoietic stem cell, and then we have the two lineages, the myeloid lineage or the lymphoid lineage. We're going to talk about the myeloid lineage first here. The myeloid lineage can develop either into the granulocytes, which will further go on and developing into the cells. We're going to talk about the CML in just a slight moment. Let me just play the full slide so that you have a complete picture of what's going on. So the myeloid lineage can also go either develop into the granulocytes, or it can also develop into the monocytes. The M here signifies the monocytes, and also it can develop into either the erythrocytes, which can further go on and develop into the plate RBCs, and also into the megakaryocytes, which go on and develop into the platelets. On the other hand, we have the lymphoid lineage, which gives rise to the B and T lymphocytes, just like that. They can also have a malignant potential. Now, let's start off here. This is the hematopoietic stem cell. This is the myeloid lineage whole, and this is the whole lymphoid lineage. What goes wrong in CML is there is some problem in this myeloid area. We can further classify this myeloid lineage into either the erythrocytes and the platelets, which do not come under the term of the granulocytes. The granulocytes generally are the neutrophils, the basophils, and the eosinophils. And along with that, we also include the monocytes in the white blood cells and all in the category of the myeloid lineage. So CML generally develops in all of these cells: neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and monocytes. These are the cells which are generally affected. There can be certain additional mutations which can lead to monoclonal unregulated growth of these cells that gives rise to the CML. As you can see, this is BCR-ABL fusion. This is the major mutation or the major chromosomal translocation that happens during the CML, which signifies CML. 95% of the patients that have CML have the BCR-ABL translocation, which is the translocation from the 9 chromosome to the 22 chromosome. ABL is a proto-oncogene, which is part of the 9th chromosome, and BCR is an area or a loci on the 22nd chromosome gene. So what happens is that the ABL jumps off from the 9th chromosome, and then it attaches to the BCR region in the 22 chromosome. That gives rise to a translocation, a balanced or a reciprocal translocation. This 922 translocation gives rise to the BCR-ABL fusion gene on the 22nd chromosome. And what happens here is that this chromosome is called now a Philadelphia chromosome. I'm sure you must be familiar with the term Philadelphia chromosome. This Philadelphia chromosome is the hallmark of CML. It is present in about 90 to 95% of the patients which have CML. By the fusion of the BCR-ABL gene, we are able to give rise to a protein. Initially, this gives rise to an RNA. It gives rise to a protein, which is a tyrosine kinase. Now, since we all know that tyrosine kinase is an enzyme, it is a kinase. It carries out the phosphorylation and gives activation to the various cell pathways. So this tyrosine kinase product is basically constitutionally activated. It is active all the time, which leads to the unregulated cell growth, and it also inhibits the apoptosis. So the unregulated cell growth and a breakdown of the apoptotic pathway, this is what malignancy is. This is what defines a malignancy. So this BCR-ABL fusion gene basically gives rise to a proto-oncogene, which gives rise to a tyrosine kinase protein, and that tyrosine kinase eventually leads to the monoclonal proliferation of the cells. The major cells affected are the granulocytes and the advanced stages of the granulocytes, the pro-metamyelocytes, the metamyelocyte stage. There are a few blast cells. If there are almost less than 10% blast cells in the CML, chronic phase, which is the major presenting phase. If the blast cells number increases, then that gives rise to a worse prognosis. We will see in the coming slides that we divide the CML according to in various phases according to the percentage of the blast cells. An increased number of blast cells shows us that a person is growing into the blast crisis, or a person is moving from the CML to the AML. AML signifies, as we talked about in the previous lecture, that in AML there are greater than 20% of the blast cells in the bone marrow. So it's very important to have a good understanding of this slide moving forwards. That will give you a good idea of all the signs and symptoms, all the various diagnostic tests that we do. So this is all about the pathogenesis of the CML, and then in the further coming slides, we're going to talk about the clinical phases and the various types of clinical features.